You're watching Masters in Trading Live with Jonathan Rose.
Hey everybody. Let me center myself. Hey everybody, it's Jonathan Rose. Welcome to Masters in Trading Live. Masters in Trading Live. I get on here every day the market's open. Go over the market, share some thoughts. Once in a while, we'll share our trade of the day. I got the chat open. Every day, Masters in Trading starts 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We always get on 10 minutes before, talk to the guys and gals, see how everybody's doing. So if you're out there, join us 10 minutes early for Masters in Trading Live. And say good morning, Rick, Giuseppe, Dale, Bill. Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. Vol exploded higher. Powell says inflation, the baseline moves from 2.1 to 2.5%. Vol explodes higher. This time of the year, when vol explodes higher, market's going to be slippery because we don't have the volume going into the end of the year. So we can see some blowout moves like we did yesterday. I gotta say, I made a big mistake. This week, we talked about hedging, protecting our portfolio, and there was a great opportunity to protect our portfolio with a short-term trade, and I talked about it. I recognized it. I pointed it out, and some of the members took advantage smartly, but I didn't, and I goofed. So for everybody in our short-term options program, I want to apologize. And I'm going to show you exactly why, but also we could all get better. We could all be held more accountable because this was a situation that we should have hedged. And instead of acting, I just talked about it. So kudos to those in the Discord that acted on getting short or buying puts in the QQQ to protect long deltas. But my apologies for not sharing a direct trade. So I'll explain exactly what I mean. I have the Discord open. I want to fully talk about this and let's see what happens. So let's move on to the screen share. I'll walk you through everything that happened. The 4 topics we got for today. We got the volatility spike, NASDAQ, the mother of all buy signals, and then a little discussion on Bitcoin. All right, guys. So here it is. Talk and no action, 12:17. Today is 12:19. Short-term options, we were long the Russell. Resistance in the QQQ, right there. The QQQ closes in its expected move 87.5% of the time, going back the last 2 years. So for anybody that's long the Russell, this trade right here, it's really a no-brainer. And where I messed up is I didn't get this trade. Now, members in our Discord, Scrappy, the only thing that saved me in the IWM was buying puts in the QQQ. The puts are to hedge the IWM, and Scrappy here was able to make 400% on that trade. So I'm going to dive into this trade deeper just to explain exactly what I mean by this. Chapman's bonds are tradable for sure. And here's the move in the QQQs. The QQQs, so this was the hedge that we needed to protect IWM. QQQs came off just massively, 87.5%. So obviously, that's the trade. Now, IWM, if we look here, IWM closes in its expected move 71% of the time. But if we go back, I'm going to go back right now and look at the Qs. This is the NASDAQ at the top end of its expected move. And this is the IWM now at the bottom end of its expected move. So the mistake that I made, many in my Discord were able not to make that same silly, awful mistake, is when you're long IWM, if you have an opportunity to protect yourself going into a big market moving event like Fed, that's a trade that you need to do. And that's a trade that I will get much better at going forward with my community to add protection. IWM. Here, we're looking at a monthly chart. Last month's low is about 218, and this month's low is 219. So the lows of the month are the same. Even the highs are pretty much the same. So IWM, I would expect some support under that 218, 219, because that's the monthly level. Now, this chart, I need your eyes to get adjusted because it's a little bit different, okay? What do we have here? This white line is the NASDAQ, okay? I'm going to write QQQ because it's correlated to the QQQ. And this down here is your Russell or IWM. These lines here, they're volatility bands. Volatility bands. And the wider they are, the more volatility there is. So yesterday was the most volatility we've seen in the market in the last 4 months. The Russell trades right down to, to the implied vol lines, just like it did up here. So Russell is ridiculously inexpensive relative to the Qs. That's why having both sides of the trade was really paramount for this week as the VIX exploded. All of you guys in the chat, can I just get a yes or a thumbs up that this is all making sense? Okay. I think that this is going to come back in so freaking hard where the QQQs are so expensive still relative to the Russell. Okay. This all makes sense. Yeah, I know this chart here is a little funky. It's a little bit different, but just look at it as volatility increasing as those bands come out. And then we should see some support at these lower bands. Awesome. One more. This is all of 2024. This chart shows the NASDAQ, QQQ. I'll also show the Russell, which is just the IWM. Now, for the futures contract, you would look at this as 1 NASDAQ to 2 Russell. That's how you balance those out. But you can see NASDAQ outperforms Russell, and then it comes back. NASDAQ outperforms Russell. Russell's down here. Russell rallies. NASDAQ sells off. Okay, here, same trade. And now here, we are seeing the most optimal time to put this trade on for the entire year. So for this reason, this is why we continue to be short or wanting to be short. JR didn't share that trade, full disclosure. I shared the chart, but we got to share everything in our portfolio. So just trying to be as transparent as I possibly can with you guys. And IWM. It's the end of the year. It's the slower time of the year, but this trade will work itself out. It's just a matter of not if, in my opinion, but when. And I just want to show you lots of supporting charts that explain the disconnect between those two. Because if you're patient and you waited on this chart and you just did the trades when it really presented, I think you would be really, really happy and successful. But you got to do both sides. You got to protect. JR got a little cute with not sharing that Qs trade while we were along the IWM. So again, as I told my friend Dale in there, it literally kept me up last night. VIX. VIX is the market's expectation of movement. VIX closes within its expected move for the last 2 years, 79% of the time. Yesterday, we traded outside the expected move. Today, the VIX is trying to come in. Volatility right now is holding pretty strong. As Eddie pointed out in our Discord community, with a key measure of VVIX. The VVIX continues to trade higher. What's the VVIX and why should you follow it? The VVIX, think of it as the VIX on the VIX. So it shows how much expected movement is expected in the VIX contract. So when the VVIX rallies, that's going to be bearish. Expect more volatility in those VIX contracts. Wow, I got a lot of charts going on. Here is our VIX trading system. Now, if you go to Jonathan Rose's YouTube channel and you search mother of all buy signals, you'll find videos on the VIX trading system. Now, this tool gives us buy signals. And on this chart, we see 4 different buy signals. But going back to 2023, there was a period where we didn't get any buy signals, which kind of stunk. But then the buy signals that we do get, and the reason we call this the mother of all buy signals, is because when we get a buy signal in this tool, the back-tested results are going to be right here. Now, again, past performance doesn't mean that futures performance is going to be the same thing, okay? But we can get a pretty good idea from backtesting, and through backtesting, you could see the backtester didn't pick up any losers when we use no stops. But the next slide, I'm going to show you what happens when we use a 21-day stop. Because this, when we use a 21-day stop, here are all the winners and losers. But if we use a 21-day stop, it looks like we had a stop out here and then a stop out right here, but still total orders, max P&L and total P&L are really, really, really impressive. Again, past performance is not indicative of future results, but it's pretty darn impressive. And so that is our VIX trading system. Again, on Jonathan Rose's YouTube, just search mother of all buy signals and you'll get a complete understanding of what that tool is. The next thing I want to touch on, going a little bit longer than usual, I feel like, is Bitcoin. We've talked about this all week. We've talked about price discovery. Right now, with options on Bitcoin, Bitcoin is going through price discovery. And using price discovery, you can see how the options market makers are making markets for weekly ranges. And so IBIT trades down to its lower expected move. It rallies. It trades up. It sells off. It trades down. It rallies. And then yesterday, in the last 2 days, we were looking for places to get long IBIT puts playing for a sell-off. And that's exactly what happened. Also cool to notice that when the market moves, when the VIX spikes, everything has a beta of 1. When the market starts moving and the VIX spikes, there's nowhere to hide. Everything is moving together, and everything has a beta of 1. So that's what I got for today's Masters in Trading Live. I really wanted to go through each one of those charts because what we need to do as traders on our good trades, on our bad trades, is you need to go back, look at how you did, and hold yourself accountable. I'm holding myself accountable because I goofed we needed to hedge our long IWMs. And instead of just sharing a chart saying, hey, for those who are long IWM, you may consider a hedge, I got to get in there and say, guys, this is a no-brainer. We have to hedge going into a big number like that. So I got you guys. I wanted to hold myself accountable, but we'll get them next time. Everybody, thanks for watching. For everybody in All Access, you guys don't go anywhere. We're going to be releasing some new Think or Swim tools, so we're going to be talking about that. Thanks so much for watching, guys.